All right, so we're here back in the HRC office. Today there was a hearing on Capitol Hill, the first ever on transgender issues, and I'm here with Diego Sanchez and Meghan Stabler, who Diego was one of the hearing witnesses, and Meghan was in attendance today also. So Diego, just want to ask you, what's your impression of like how the hearing went? How do you think that the members responded to today's testimony? Obviously, there were quite a few witnesses today.
Well, it was really exciting for Megan and I both, who are on the business council. It's really exciting to be part of submitting testimony, and also for myself being a witness at such an important hearing. I thought that the members, especially, I had the opportunity to be watching their faces throughout the session. They
Mm-hmm.
were very engaged and very interested and very aware and cognizant of the courage that it took for most of the witnesses to actually tell their stories. They were also very attentive when Shannon Mentor was walking through the more the issues side of
Right.
lives.
So, I mean, you actually talked a little bit about your own upbringing and kind of growing up transgender. Why do you think it's so important that transgender individuals are kind of forthcoming with like their own personal stories or experiences? I mean, I guess it's a question for both of you all.
Certainly, well, I personally think that if we were already treated fairly, it wouldn't matter that we would have to disclose in front of Congress the rudiments of our personal lives.
Right.
But because we are viewed as less able to have the full array of rights that other Americans have in our country, that means that we have to take more chances to try to communicate the reality of our lives so that we can be seen for the merit that we have and the humanity that actually defines us.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll add to that. I did submit written testimony for the hearing today, and I think the important thing is to show that we are individuals that are very capable in the workforce today, and to be able to share our personal stories is key so that they can see that. And you know, as Diego shared his, you know, the words that he used and the words that I use are very similar, though I call them, you know, I went from that world of male entitlements, white male entitlements, to
Mm-hmm.
this world where just a pure label that's placed upon me, or a gender marker that may be out of whack with how I present myself,
Mm-hmm.
causes so much turmoil that leads then into workplace discrimination. And that's why we do what we do for the Business Council and for other reasons, is to make sure that we can begin to affect change in Congress just by one conversation at a time, which is really what you did. You had one conversation, but with multiple audience members.
Right. There was a great turnout at today's hearing. I mean, the hearing was packed, and there was actually an overflow room where people were able to watch the hearing today. Was it encouraging to see so many individuals come out?
Absolutely.
I mean, both transgender and non-transgender.
Absolutely. And I think that's core, is that as I put in my submitted testimony on a press release today, you know, we are in the fabric of America. I mean, there is probably no job profession where there is either not somebody who is transgender and has come out, or somebody that is struggling today to come out and hasn't got the courage or the chance or even the workplace opportunity to do that. And just to see the fact that the whole leading up to the hearing room went round the corner,
Right. Right.
right around the corner of that, and then they had to come down and say, well, we can only take so many, and the rest of you are upstairs in the overflow room. I think that's a tremendous view. But let's not forget that those were just the people that were physically here.
Right.
There was a lot of people on that webcast, because I certainly were getting BlackBerry messages when I'm sitting there from people that are watching it, really shouting out the "Go Diego Go" message. I'll share with you too. So, but I think this is a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the audience, and there definitely was a palpable sense of, I think, of just pride at watching the hearing witnesses really kind of tell their stories. Was there anything that the two of you learned today that you weren't expecting to learn? Was there a new experience that you got today, a new perspective that you all want to share?
Well, I feel that I learned that there is hope in our lives, that we can be included in legislation eventually, that protects us in non-discrimination. And I feel that I learned that by looking into the eyes of the members of Congress, as well as hearing the courage both in the people who were witnesses, but also the courage throughout the room and in the overflow room. The room was filled with people with situations and passions in common, and that's what our country has been based on, is people seeing things that are not quite the way we would like them to be, but having the courage and conviction to make them so. So I left with hope.
Yeah, and I also sort of absolutely share that hope, and I like the fact there was a consortium of interested parties and organizations that came together to make this happen. I think that's the key thing. There wasn't one organization that really stood out. There was a lot of organizations, people in leadership that made this happen. So it's encouraging to see the community come together, as well as you put it, the eyes of the congressmen and women who, as they sat and listened and the stories resonated, you could see their bodies shift forward. You could see their eyes open up to the harassment case or the issues that were coming up in the workplace discrimination. So it resonates, but we have more of these conversations as much as we can.
Right, and I think that's something that Chairman Andrews said today, that this is just the beginning of many conversations on this topic, and obviously, we'll be there, and, we'll have you guys there as well to kind of help us, continue to educate Congress on the importance of transgender issues. So I think this was a great example of teamwork, like you said, and hopefully we'll get a lot more of that in the future.
Absolutely.
We're looking forward to it, and
Yeah.
we'll be doing it together.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.